Hey TPN, welcome back to a bonus episode. So I guess welcome to a bonus episode of the Pilot Network podcast. This series that you'll hear is 3 episodes from recorded live at TPNx. We've got a different kind of guests, or different kind of guests than we have had in the past. The recruiters were so busy at TPNx, we didn't really have a chance to pull anybody from Southwest American or FlexJet aside. Even though the industry has changed, they were doing their best to see every single attendee that was at TPNx. So we didn't get a chance to see them. So we had a couple guests or guests that came on from last year and some new folks, some new people in the crowd. Today on this episode, this bonus episode, a good old friend of mine, Linsay Auerbach, joins and talks about a different career path that is something that we don't see as much in aviation. I found it pretty fascinating. It was fun to catch up with her anyways. It's been many years. You'll hear us kind of talk about that in the pod. And what I kind of wanted to iterate here is if you went to TPNx, you saw what it was about, tell your friends, tell your colleagues what you can do by paying it forward in this industry, how you can help by mentoring and doing so much more than what you ever thought was capable. That's really what TPNx is about. And if you're listening and getting value from the pod, or you get value from TPNx or anything else that the Pilot Network has been able to help you with, or you've been able to help others with, don't just stop there. The podcast, TPNx, everything else that TPN has done, the Facebook group, whatever part of TPN you call your little home segment, it's the tip of the iceberg, or the tip of the spear, as we would say in the Air Force. The real connection happens inside TPN, whether it's the analog of coming to TPNx or going to our Hangar Fly series. June 11th was the last one. Look for more info on that in the future. Whether it's digital inside TPN Pro, where our staff writers and correspondents deliver great words of encouragement and industry news and stuff to help you out. That's kind of where we hang out as a team, as a group, and as a collective that can help continue to drive this industry forward. In Pro, we're starting to do a series of AMAs hosted by myself for now, until we bring some other folks on. We have some recruiters that we're talking to and hopefully going to line them up, a la our friends over at Spitfire Elite, Nick Fialka. We've got some old guests that we want to bring on to do some AMAs once we kind of get it running. We've got as I said before, the Hangar Fly series, where you can go and speak and talk to other pilots that maybe you don't know so well. We're hoping to do a lot more with that. So if you've been flying solo, TPN is your crew. There you go. That's my little tagline. Anyways, come and check out all those things. You can find all that information on thepilotnetwork.com. There it will shoot you off into everything else. So thepilotnetwork.com. Otherwise, hit me or Matt up at heyguys@thepilotnetwork.com for any questions, anything that you want to know in particular. So heyguys@thepilotnetwork.com. But enough from me. Let's listen to my conversation with Linsay Auerbach live from TPNx. What is up, Network Faithful? It is I, Adam, again, coming to you live from TPNx. That is right. I finally got in the booth. I run around here, talk to all these people, but every now and again, I get to talk to somebody that I haven't seen 20 some odd years. With me today is Linsay Auerbach. Linsay and I go back, 20?
Yeah, about 20 years.
20 years. So Linsay was a co-pilot. I was a co-pilot. We were at McConnell together way back in the day. We do way different stuff now. I didn't even know that she was here, and I thought I saw her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is Linsay. And she has taken a different path than a lot of us have in aviation. And I just thought it was such a cool way to have gone about doing something different. Most people hear this and they want to talk about airline jobs and this and that, but you became an entrepreneur through a different series of events. Why don't you walk us through that? Well, welcome, first of all, Linsay. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, super happy to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, 100%. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, appreciate it. So yeah, like you said, met on active duty. I switched over to the reserve.
When did you switch over to the reserves?
I think it was about 2011, 2012,
Oh,
right in
okay.
there.
All right. Yep. That's when
Yep.
I made the jump from the reserves to the guard. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're about the same boat, just a little different component, but yeah.
Yeah. So straight from active duty to the reserve. Still in now. So still do reserve part-time.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah. And yours. um, goodness, on the civilian side. So I actually kind of tried to find something other than aviation and flying and military. And so to kind of occupy my time,
Sure.
I actually started selling Scentsy for a little while just to get out of the house and like make contacts and stuff like that. And then I took a staff job in the military
Okay.
and went away from flying for a little while. You know, like all good officers, they promote you to a desk,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah. Hey, get
So-
out and stop doing the job that you're trained for that you love to go sit
right.
at a desk and
Right,
crunch
exactly.
numbers.
And so I had a couple different paths going on all at once there, but realized after, I would say probably 6 or 7 years of not flying that I really missed it.
Sure.
So I had the opportunity on the civilian side now to branch out again and actually got in contact with Matt, and he said that JetLinks was hiring. So I'm like, okay, well, great. I have a little bit of background in this airframe. It happened to be a beach jet that they had in St. Louis, which was where I was living or where I am living. And so I interviewed with them, got a job with them. So I got back into the flying world again and actually flying aircraft. And
Was it no when you came back? So I'm lucky. I've never not flown in my career to the point where there's days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go do this again. Go to the airport again.
oh, don't say that.
You know, yeah, right. Because that's what I want to ask about. Like when you came back, was it this feeling of, oh yeah, this is what I should be. This is where I belong. Like not sitting behind a desk and doing.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I missed it. I really did. I miss it. And it's funny that you say that because I say all the time, I'm like, man, how can you not love this? Like, how can you not love going to work? How can you be a pilot and go through everything that we have to go through and then dread coming to work every day?
Right.
Those guys that come in and they're sitting in the cockpit like, and grumble, you know, oh, I hate being here. I can't believe I have to do this again. It's like, no, this is awesome. This is the best job in the world. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. Probably because they haven't been away from it for a while, right?
I think you're onto something there.
So they don't get the opportunity to realize what they're missing. So anyway, so I flew with JetLinks for a little while. I got my currencies back up, got my type and all that. And then I applied for Southwest, started flying with them. And then over the course of having these civilian flying jobs where your uniform's not picked out for you every day, right? A little bit of option.
Yeah.
I just realized that female uniforms was kind of a lacking thing. And nothing against, obviously, all the other outfitters that are out there, you know, big names and stuff like that. But female uniforms, female pilot shirts, professional pilot shirts are not their first priority, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's just it's a pure numbers game.
Yeah,
I get
right.
it. When you're a big company, you cater to the numbers, the percentages, you know, and when 98% of your clientele are men, that's what you're going to focus on.
Sure.
So it's a very niche market, but I'm like, we need a company that makes female pilot shirts. And who better to do it than a female pilot who gets it, you know, who's been there, who's gone through all these things and experienced all these things and understands like what is really needed. And so I started reaching out on a bunch of different Facebook groups and making posts and seeing all these people just complaining about, oh, you know, I spend $80 on a shirt and then I got to spend $40 to tailor it because it doesn't fit. And just all the different complaints that we have. And we can do this better.
Yeah.
And so I actually reached out to a company who was kind of a quote unquote soup to nuts company. They did everything. It was actually here in St. Paul, which I was super excited about. It was a female run company. I'm like, oh, this would be great. You know, it's back on my old stomping ground. It's female run. I think this will be perfect. And I reached out to them and they're like, oh, that's not really what we do. I'm like, crap. Now I got to start all over again.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, there was this company right there in St. Louis in my backyard that did very similar thing. Start to end, did everything. They do the marketing, they do the branding, they do the prototyping, the designing, like all this stuff. And they have been amazing to work with.
Yeah.
So I pitched them my idea. They're just, gosh, we love it. We love your story. We love what you want to do with it. We love where you want to take it. let's do this. And so we just started talking, we started brainstorming, and we came up with Aris Aviation. And like I said, they've been amazing to work with. This is my first event. I think it's gone really well so far.
I'd love to hear that. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
I think one of the key factors is, the entrepreneurial journey that a lot of us go through that we never expected to go through.
Right.
I mean, I never did. I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur after TPN start. I just was like, I'm running a Facebook group. And the next thing I know, it's 12 years later, we have a conference with a couple, 300, 400, 500 people at it, with all these vendors and people that we have to make sure all this stuff works. And you realize that it takes like this team of people when you think you can do it yourself, and you realize that's not humanly possible.
Oh no, there's no way. There's no way I could do. I mean, I'm a dumb pilot. There's no way I could do. There's no way I could do all of that by myself.
When you do so, because you're in a different game, right? Your manufacturing is it's a game that I don't have the stomach for. I'm in awe. It's awesome to see you doing it. It's not a game that I think I'd be very good at either. So when you first come up with this idea and you say, hey, I've got this idea for this small a niche market, like the nichest of niche markets,
right?
Like not just for women, but women in aviation, which, oh, by the way, percentage number wise is pretty small. However, they don't have a product that suits them. And if we can be the first to the market with a top quality game, we're going to have the most conversions. When you have that pitch, what's the first response? I mean, oh, that's nice, because of the numbers game.
Right.
Specifically, did you deal with any of that, or is it
not from them?
Oh, and so it was just right off the bat, you hit a home run the first time.
Yes, it was amazing. And I think part of the reason is they like to deal in those little niche markets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've got some really big clients too.
Okay.
But they do everything, like from tiny little startups like mine to companies that, I could spit out names and you would recognize them immediately.
Okay.
They just, like I said, they heard my story and they're like, we love your story. We love where you're going with this. Like, yes, let's do this. I think this will be awesome. And so they brought in a team that does branding and marketing. And so we sat down for probably 2 hours one day and just started throwing terms, aviation terms, throw them on the wall. Let's come up with something like what's going to stick. And I mean, we probably had a list about 50 kind of like catchphrase, keywords, stuff like that. And somehow we started looking into like gods, right? So gods of the sky and weird and stuff like that. And so we came across Aris. So it's spelled Aeris.
Yes.
And there was just so many neat little things as we started talking about it, and Aris as in like spelled HEIR.
Okay. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So an heir to something.
Yeah.
Right. And then air AIR.
Yeah.
Is in the pronunciation. Right. So we came up with that, and then we started designing the logo with the crown and the starburst.
It's super cool.
Right. And the little jewels at the top of the crown that look like little planes.
Yeah.
Right. And
so it's so cool.
Just the whole thing it just clicked so well, and all the pieces started falling into place. And so, like I said, the company's been amazing to work with. They have such great minds. They have so much experience. They do everything from start to finish, and they've just been an amazing resource and just wonderful people and very genuine, which I love.
I think that speaks volumes, not only about what they're doing, but you to be able to find, like, resource that. And I think that bodes well for people out there who are listening, or even if you're just trying to get that first, like if you're just trying to get the first job in aviation, is you can try to do it all on your own. You can. And a lot of us, back when we started the journey, there wasn't great resources that we knew of. It wasn't as easy to connect with people. I mean, you could go on like an unknown forum and talk to some dude who is sitting in his mom's basement who played Microsoft Flight Simulator, who said he was, a UPS captain for the last 40 years or whatever.
Oh, sure.
But the reality is to find a mentor was very challenging when we were kids in this aviation get up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you got lucky, you had a family member, or you knew somebody who could walk you through it. Nowadays, it's a lot easier. If you have some initiative and you have some value to offer somebody else, don't ever ask for anything for free. When you're a pilot, after you earn your spurs, then you start to get all your free stuff. But before then, you gotta earn your spurs. And if you can offer some value, you can find those mentors way easier than we ever got to. And that's a good thing. That means we're doing something right in the industry. We're paying it forward.
Well, and the internet has opened up so much too.
Oh yeah.
Because when we
100%.
started, we were just having the conversation about the giant sat phones, the
Yeah.
giant brick phones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, just technology in general has opened up so many doors for so many people, and it's made everything so much more accessible.
Well, and one of the things that I talk about, especially at this conference, is kind of people opening their aperture. Okay, when we were in the military, even it was kind of taboo a little bit at the time to talk about airlines. Or like when we were younger. As we got a little bit older, that opened up, and nowadays it's like a free for all. Everybody talks about that all the time, especially in the Guard and Reserve. But the thing that opening your aperture really does is you start to look outside of those places that everybody else works and everybody else does this. And you kind of get rid of that lemming mentality and you find what fits you. And it seems like for you to go out there and do an entrepreneurship project, which has meaning and value and purpose behind it, gives you a little bit extra motivation. When you go to work, when you're flying the line, you have this extra piece like, hey, I'm this shirt that I'm wearing is what I made. Like I created this.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you as a woman to be comfortable in your profession and not made to be cut from the same cloth, pun intended, as a man. Yeah. Are we all the same in the cockpit? Yeah. I mean, well, everybody except for me, I'm, not the greatest, but the reality is it's okay to be unique and different, not only in who you are biologically, but also who you are in the journey that you take. And that is what I see when I see a young entrepreneur out here who's like,
you say young.
well, compared to think we're not that old, Lindsay. But like, if you think about it,
I still feel like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah, I know I do. I feel like I'm getting young. I'm like Benjamin Button in my mind, but my body is not. Just to see taking on a challenge at an age where, hey, I've got a family that I'm raising. I've got responsibilities in the military. I have responsibilities in my airline, but I want to take on something else that gives me purpose and value outside of those places. Because I think one of the biggest issues, and you're going to have this soon, right? When you retire from the military, is when you hang up the superhero cape. That purpose, when you go to work, hey, I love flying for my airline, but there's days where purpose-driven, it's getting from point A to point B doesn't necessarily drive a purpose. It's like, hey, it's cool.
Right.
It's cool, but it's not like I just refueled 4 F-16s who are bombing a bunch of things in Iraq and getting a bunch of people home safely.
Right.
That is gone out of my life. And for you out there, that purpose might be something completely different. And it's okay for you to exercise and explore that. And if it fails, who cares? Like you tried. That's the big deal. Same with the airline interview stuff. You try, you fail, you tried. That's the biggest piece that I take away from something like that.
Yeah. And I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I'd end up being in the fashion industry. That's kind of where I found myself. But you're right. Looking back on my career, I mean, it was flying the line, back in the military was very rewarding. And since I kind of have hung that hat up, and I always used to say like, oh, I've trained my replacement.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the schoolhouse, I trained people to fly. Now they're doing that job.
Mm-hmm.
I've graduated to something else now, I've moved on. But yes, you need to find those little things, whether it's in aviation or not, that can help you find that purpose.
Yeah, kind of recapture that purpose that you had, whether it has anything to do with what you're currently doing, right? I mean,
sure.
Like I got into, so I always said this before, but I had this fascination with voiceover since I was like a little kid, and I just shut down. And I mean, is it anything like what I did in the military or no, it's nothing like that.
It's the radio voice.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's the radio voice, which they made fun of me in pilot training for that. Cause I was so confident in the best radio voice in the group. I still think I do. Matt Wood, I'm looking at you if you heard this, but, the reality of it was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm doing a silly commercial or I'm doing something else, but like, it gives me purpose. I'm like, I like doing it. And it makes me feel like I am exercising a part of me that I don't get to do on a regular basis. And I think when we do that as pilots, entrepreneurs, whatever we go and do, that kind of rounds us into this whole person. And oh, by the way, for those of you listening who want an airline job, when you're a whole person, you have something more to talk about, because that's what they don't want to hear how many hours you have. They know, they can see it on a piece of paper, right?
Yes.
They want to see way more. So what's next? What's next in this Aris adventure? This being your first conference, you got way more to do after this.
There's a lot to come. So right now we're really just in the prototyping phase. I literally picked up what I brought here to TPNx on my way here. So we've just got a handful of prototypes, and I'm just trying to get them out in front of everybody so that they can literally put their hands on them, feel it,
touch, feel,
try them on, and give me that sort of tactile feedback. Hopefully within the next month or two, we'll get some more samples made, and I'll be able to get them out to some of my fellow female aviators. Get some kind of on the job type testing, have them wear them to work and give me some of that really good feedback in the cockpit. How did it work for you? What can we improve on? Because that's really my goal, is to create a product that really is the best thing on the market, taking all this feedback from everybody that's tried it, tested it, people that have tried other products that haven't worked for them. What didn't work? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Let's improve it. Let's make the best thing that we can.
It's cool too, because when you get the negative feedback, sometimes we learn from our mistakes more than we learn from our successes.
Yes, absolutely. Right? Well, and that's what I keep telling everybody. I said, I like hearing the good stuff, but I want to hear the bad stuff too, because then I know what I can fix, what we can improve, and how we can make it better. I'm going to launch a Kickstarter this summer.
Oh, cool.
So that's in the works. And then hoping that our first full product line run will come by the end of this year.
Well, and obviously women in aviation business right out there too, but also pre-flight camps. That's a big one. Get them started early.
Yes.
Get them hooked on their kids, right? And,
absolutely.
And we would love to help. We've got lots of friends. I mean, although TPNx is heavily male attended, TPN does have a lot of women in aviation, to borrow the term, that I think want that specialized touch, that product that's built for them. Because I know, I don't necessarily have the most perfect body type, and when I get something that fits right, I feel better. I feel like the stuff I'm wearing, and this is a shameless plug. We have built polos for volunteers and us. And when I first wore a built product, I was like, oh my gosh, like something off the rack that fits me and makes me not look like the slob fat boy I am, makes me feel like I look good. And then when I look good, I feel good. And whether people believe that or not, they're nuts.
No, it's so true. It really is. If you feel good in what you're wearing, it gives you that confidence. You present yourself differently. You handle yourself differently. You exude that confidence and that air. And that's really what we're going for. We want something that looks professional, but feels, like you're running around in your pajamas, that's super comfortable.
And like I said, touch and feel, and I thought they were really cool. I mean, it's great. Like when does the guy line come out?
It's funny. I've been asked that quite a bit. The whole idea behind Aris is a product that was designed by women for women.
Yeah, I love it.
And the logo and the branding, everything is geared towards women, So under the Aris brand, I can't do that.
No. And
I really can't. And I would love to in the future, but it's going to require a whole new company.
And why leave? Because when you make a good product and you make a product for a very specific group of individuals, your fan base and your supporters become rabidly loyal.
Yes. And I would never want to desert
and why would
that.
Here's another thing for all of you out there who think of entrepreneurship leads to being the CEO and founder of Uber. Okay, that's called a unicorn if you're not in that space and you don't understand it a little bit. And that's whatever. That's what it is. There's this beautiful thing called a lifestyle business. And a lifestyle business is something you do that you love doing that sometimes can pay the bills and sometimes even a little bit more than that. And a lot of times people do that forever.
because they love doing it, and they make enough money on it to make it worth their time. But it's something that it becomes this passion, can't give up on. And another thing, so there's this kind of myth in the entrepreneurial world, for those of you who listen to entrepreneurial podcasts or read books on it, is these people who make it big or make it semi-big. They sell a company for $50, $100 million or whatever the number might. It's big enough where they could quit, like be done with work forever. They lose that sense of purpose that we talked about earlier. And when that sense of purpose is gone, they are so empty and hollow, they have to start building. And if they can't recreate or recapture that, they struggle. They struggle mentally and emotionally and all this stuff.
Well, I think that goes back to your sense of purpose too.
Right.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You've lost that.
Yeah. And well, I mean, even you've got kids. A mother stays home with their kids when they're young sometimes. And when the kids leave the house, they feel like they've lost a sense of purpose.
Right.
And the reality is we're going to be going through this one, is now it's time to dust off the old resume or whatever it might be, or just get back at it, whatever. And it doesn't have to, and this is the last thing I'll say about it. It doesn't have to make you money. Money is awesome and it does help. But in the career fields that you might go into, it doesn't have to be about money. It can be about what you're truly driven by and give you that sense of purpose. And it might be volunteering. It might be mentorship. It might be creating a product. It might be something else. But whatever it is, keep that sense of purpose going after you leave the military or after you get that last job or you've attained the success in your head that's where you need to be. If you keep that sense of purpose, you will be driven for life. And you'll wake up a much happier person than if you don't have it. And that's just my silly opinion.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about this company, if it goes the way I see it going, the way I want it to go, I want to be able to take some of that, the extra, right? Yeah. And give back.
Yeah.
We've got so many great opportunities, great companies, great organizations out there. For young girls in aviation.
Yeah, we do.
And bringing that in. And so I really do want to be able to give back. And so that's, in the future, one of the goals, to be able to do some of that giving, and outreach and stuff like that. And then, we've also talked about doing like an upcycle program,
Oh, yeah.
So where we take in old uniforms, slightly used uniforms that we can then resell or give away at a very reduced price to people who are just getting their start in this industry, because it's not cheap.
You pay for enough other stuff
yes.
throughout your career, for sure.
Yeah. So there's just so many things in the work and so many places where I see this going and so many things that I want to do.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see just a small piece of it coming to fruition, being here.
Yeah.
Well, so again, I thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
The
No, of course, Lindsay, you're welcome forever. And great job. The product's awesome. I got to play with it a little bit, touch it. And I said, hey, I think I'm going to buy a couple smalls for my girls, and so they can pretend until they can actually do it. We'll see if we're not all replaced in 20 years anyways, but if they're not, then a career field worth its weight in gold.
It'll be an heirloom at that point.
It'll be an heirloom. Yeah. Lindsay, how can everybody find you and check out Aris?
So you can go to the website. It's www.arisaviationapparel.com.
Okay.
And I'm on all the socials too. Again, just starting out. So all those pages will be built up more than they are right now in the hopefully very near future.
Sure.
And eventually we'll have an online storefront there as well.
Cool.
So,
yeah. Awesome. Well, go out there, give Aris a follow, check out the website, see what's coming up. And for those of you who have aviators in your life who are of the female variety, what a great way to start them off on their journey, or give them something that they can work with and go, oh my gosh, I need to have tons more of this in my life. And for all of you who are not at TPNx and you want to get a hold of Matt or I, hit us up at heyguys@thepilotnetwork.com. Go to thepilotnetwork.com, check out our socials. We're on there. If you did attend TPNx and you're hearing this now, thank you so much for coming. And we can't wait to do. We're already excited about next year and having Aris and Lindsay back next year. And as always, keep the shiny side up, greasy side down. Fly safe, everybody.
Thanks for flying on our wing live from TPNx. If you got value from this session, don't keep it in the jump seat. Share it, subscribe, and join us inside TPN Pro for a heck of a lot more. We're building something real here, and you're the network. Until next time, keep paying it forward.